Cloud leaves. I'm just kidding. There's
a sign over top that the whole time everybody's like, oh, we already talked to you.
Good. All right. Here we go. Siobhan's ready. Eric's ready. Okay.
Thanks, Max. My name is Brian Cafferty. I'm CEO of GistCloud. No matter what type of content you produce or distribute, your message is only as good as the platform that delivers it. That's our premise. The situation. The traditional press release has evolved into a form of digital advertising. Creating, curating, and disseminating a multimedia press release is cumbersome and costly proposition under the existing format. The challenge. Combine multimedia assets and social media presence on one highly engaging, device-agnostic platform and deliver that message both online and to the media cost-effectively. Introducing GistCloud. Keeps going, there we go. Device agnostic. We run on any platform, be able to watch it whether you're on an iPhone, iPad, any of the traditional PCs, etc. Very important, because a lot of the videos and other capabilities do not go through on other press release versions. Mobile broadcast capable, we added that as a possibility to do live broadcasts right into a press release. So if you're going to do an event, you can monitor it, you can go live, and engage other people right through that single press release. Detailed analytics. Anybody who's working with press releases wants to know what's going on. It's a form, as I said, of advertising, being able to understand who's seeing my release, what are they doing, what are they clicking on within the release, what do they find interesting, what are they downloading. Those are important facts, and we make that available. Highly effective. This is an example where we produced a press release, and within an hour, that press release was #1 on Google Financials about that particular company. In this case, it was Goodyear, and it was put out by a law firm. So we are highly effective. What is intermediate? We call this an intermediate press release because we involve broadcast video, images, website, Twitter, and Facebook feeds. No other press release business is bringing that in today. So we add social media to part of what was traditional press release. We add a QR code at the bottom because, again, allowing you to interface from a traditional print media into the digital aspect, that's part of what we do. It's been a tremendous growth in multimedia press releases. From 2007 through 2012, it went from 7% of the releases to now 21% of releases and growing. About our partners, we have a relationship with the state press associations across America. They represent over 6,000 newspapers and media and print outlets, both print and digital. Most newspapers carry both the website, so it's extremely important, and we cater to both sides of that. They provide us 3 key advantages: marketing to customers. They have their own microsites that they operate in conjunction with us, distribution to the media, and then sales through those microsites. Industry trends, websites, traditional media, 20 out of 25 the most popular. Americans are watching video more than ever, and local digital advertising grew 22% to $19.9 billion. Those are important facts. Market size, the press release business is approximately $1 billion and growing. The overall advertising in B2B grew 10% to 59.5. Our revenue business model, our product is deployed. 7 of 25 contracted microsites are up. We're growing at 20% month over month. And our goal is to get 5% of the market, which is about $35 million. The team, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Our CTO has been part of it. We've had 3 successful startups, and we have sold each of those. Why are we here? Seeking this investment. $650 million. Our use of funds to expand our sales and continue product expansion.
Great. You're not going to get $650 million.
I know.
I'm trying. I can ask.
That's it.
We're talking about his sales right now.
Questions? Yes.
So Brian, I liked your presentation. I thought you had a nice delivery. And maybe this was just me and lack of familiarity with the market, but I found myself the whole time unsure about what is, not so much what the the problem is that you're solving, but I didn't feel the pain point, so I'm not exactly sure why I should care, so to speak.
Well, the reason it is difficult for PR firms to, in fact, get out multimedia lists. And when you go down into the smaller businesses, which is what's going on today, it's given the smaller business an opportunity to really get their message out. So the traditional business does not know how to do a press release. So we make it easy for them, we can step through, and we allow them to get that distribution out.
Okay, yeah, I have no reason to doubt that, but maybe just, I don't know what the data point would be, but somehow if you could sort of validate that, and maybe it's with your revenue. I started to get interested when you talked about revenue. The only point I would add there is, it's not, this is not a $1 billion opportunity, but that's fine. Not every company has to be.
Any questions? Asim and then Alan.
So one thing is does this thing have a service element, or all of it is software and hence infinitely scalable? That's number one.
Right.
And the second is, what is this thing? Is it a pure SaaS, or do I have to download something and install it? Or
It's a SaaS environment, so there's no download necessary. You connect up to our sites or any of the microsites. And it is predominantly, right now, it is predominantly done automatically. There are some parts which is part of the investment we're looking for, where we want to take that automation and make it further automated. It's part of what we're looking for.
Alan.
Yeah, have you launched?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about traction?
Yes, so far we've been growing about 20, we started in April, and we've had 20% month-over-month growth, and it's part of turning up our sites. Right now, we're at a run rate of about $70,000 a year, and our average price is $250 per release.
Other questions? Eric, please.
So maybe I'm going to ask a question similar to what Mark was getting at, but I guess in my mind, the way I think about press releases is, they are, let's accept that they are a form of advertising now, if they weren't always, but a very specific part. And if you turn your press release into a multimedia production, I guess the question is, at what point does it just become advertising without any differentiation? Press release, because I think these days most companies are engaged fully with multimedia advertising. They've got Facebook pages, they've got websites that are live, they're taking advantage of all sorts of multimedia opportunities, and the press release, the archaic nature of it, in a way, is what makes it stand out. The fact that it is a text-based, pressy thing is what's unique about the press release. And if you turn it into just another, blog, it disappears into the noise of advertising. So why do people want this?
Well, and I believe that part of it is that there's going to be a movement into advertising. It just is the nature of where it has gone. There are two types of things. There's news releases, which, again, we believe in the news release, which is what you're talking about, where it has real relevance. And then there are what is a form of advertising, which is the traditional press release. And part of our growth is into what we call GistCloud. We have what we call press cloud, where we send press release. But that's part of it. But people will look at this because we're looking to link it with the traditional print, which still exists, and is going to be here for some time, through a QR code that we mentioned. So you can drive right from the print to that advertisement. And our target is the local, smaller local businesses that we can work with the papers, because they'll sell as partners of ours.
Okay, we're going to switch to feedback, and Brian, you can take your microphone off. See how you can come up and get ready, and we'll start feedback with Lev, please.
Yeah, thank you for presenting. Clearly like where you're going with press release, making it more interactive. That being said, not quite sure if interactive press release can be truly distributable through traditional outlets like Marketplace. So that's just something to consider, is how you gain traction. I mean, clearly, clearly PR firms want a better reach their audience and have better analytics, so that part I give you kudos to, because nobody's really, that I've seen, disrupted that space. And like what you're doing, and we'll just talk about a bit more next time, how you better target your audience and how you differentiate.
Mark?
So Brian already gave you a little bit of my feedback in terms of just not really feeling the pain point. I mean, I think there's some interesting angles here. You gave the example of the Google Finance page, and okay, that's kind of interesting. Maybe that might have been an area to, obviously we had 4 minutes, but in a longer presentation, that might be something that starts to get at differentiation and monetization and sort of value proposition.
Eric, please.
Well, I won't add much more to what I just said. I'm just not sure that I see the pain point and how this fits. It's everything you're doing in the press release context is well worn in the general advertising context. And so I just don't know that you can fence around the press release thing, because if it just slides into advertising generally, then what you're doing is just, you're just another face of the crowd, and trying to keep it all as a press release oriented service, I think tackles the nature of the press release itself, which I'm not sure I agree that there are two different versions. They're both advertising, and I think that, to Lev's point, that it still are sort of syndicated and published through, PR Newswire and MarketWire, and so I'm just not sure I fully understand it. Maybe a longer session would help bear that out.
Alan, please.
So this is exactly what I was trying to build when I was at YC, but except I sucked at it. So I hope that you succeed. But even if you do succeed, one of the reasons why I shut it down so quick, because I felt like I couldn't scale as large as I'd like to, is that it's a pretty small market, right? Even though, what I like to say about the PR world is that you're selling big dreams to suckers, right? Like, oh, if I could just spend $250, then I can get a press release out, and everybody will know about my product or my service. And savvy marketers just won't use press releases, right? And then everybody else does. That being said, that's fine. I have a friend who sold PR web to what's the big company? Vocus, for like $30-something million, which is kind of cool, right? But it's not huge, yeah. And I knew I couldn't scale beyond 30, so I shut it down. But I think you probably have a better shot at it than I did.
Asim, please.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with Eric and Mark, and to some extent with Alan also, but the reason is I have heard you already in one other panel, and I'm kind of biased, and I did some research on this. So I think the way you are doing it is kind of makes sense, because I had looked at your platform and how it is coming together. I don't know the PR market personally, but the tools make a lot of sense to me. My only fear is, which I had mentioned to you on the earlier panel also, that the competition will be there quite a bit, especially from a lot of people who just do it manually. There's this whole manual angle where 10 smart people are sitting here and they put together something very quickly. So that's really still my thing, how big this will really become. I don't think it'll ever become a $500 million thing, but can it become a $20 million to $50 million thing? I do think that.
Okay, guys ready to vote? 1, 2, 3.